Hey, how's it going? Mr. Deadman of Hard Talk Radio. And let's talk Fear Street Part 1, 1994. Is this a good movie? Is it? A lot of reviewers praise this movie and say it's really good and kiss its rear end. I'm not going to be one of them. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. I thought this movie was a sloppy mess. And I'll get into it and I'll explain why. Before you hit that thumbs down button, let me tell you why I thought it was that. Because there's probably things you probably didn't think about this movie. And I love slashers. If you watch my reviews or Hard Talk Radio, you know I love slashers. Like Halloween, Friday the 13th, you know. I even like the cheesy ones. And what I consider a cheesy slasher is where it doesn't take itself seriously. Obviously, the rules and mechanics of it are inconsistent throughout the movie, but it's done in a way where it's not taken serious. This movie does treat itself seriously, very much like Stranger Things does. And like Stranger Things, it's wrapped in nostalgia. Instead of 80s nostalgia, it's 90s nostalgia. And I think the 90s nostalgia and the homage to 90s slashers is what people see and they instantly like it without really, I guess, taking notice of some massive plot holes and a massive sloppy just mess of this movie. It is not a good movie, and I'll tell you why. If you think this is a good movie, you're supporting incompetence. That's what you're supporting. Let me tell you. No, let me tell you. Okay, first off, what the movie is about. There will be spoilers in this. So the movie is about a bunch of teenagers, their friends, I guess, that accidentally encounter an ancient evil responsible for a series of brutal murders that have plagued their town over 300 years. There's murders going around. They consider it the witch. That's not even a spoiler because the movie within the credits tells you that this is about a witch. And the credits, and the opening credits, it's all about witchcraft stuff, and we're treated instantly. We're greeted to, very shortly, our nerd character, who is our guru nerd of everything. Nerd in video games, nerd of serial killers, nerd of D&D, role-playing on AOL, nerd of everything you could think of. Super nerd. Look, I was a nerd in the 90s, and it wasn't like that at all. No, you picked one lane, maybe two lanes of like subject matter to be a nerd in, and that's kind of it. This guy was super nerd, but okay, whatever. But he even tells you right in the beginning of the movie that he thinks it's the witch. He thinks it's the witch is back. The witch is back is responsible for the murder. The witch is responsible for the murder in the mall. Okay. Sounds okay so far. Sounds good. However, throughout the movie, the rest of the movie, there are no more possessions. See, supposedly, the witch is responsible for the murder at the mall because the witch somehow possessed the body of the Ryan guy, which there's no indication of. It's not really talked about again, other than it happened, but it never happens again to any of the other characters. It never explained, and it's not even a thing. At least in this movie, I don't know about the sequels. I don't know if they explain the plot hole. It's pretty blatant, pretty massive. Because the opening killing made it seem as if it was her boyfriend. So in the opening of the movie, this chick who's also in Stranger Things, forgetting her name. She's the last store to close, the bookstore to close. She closes before she wraps up. Her boyfriend friend thing is like, oh, I'll pick you up after work. It's like, okay, fine, I'll do that. And he looked alive. He didn't look like he was possessed or anything, and he didn't have any blood on him, which I'm saying that for a reason. And then the mass murder comes, starts trying to kill her. Turns out unmasked. Oh, it was the boyfriend. Okay, seemed kind of weird. And the witch was involved in that? How's a witch involved in that? We don't know. And it's never really said again. Because in this movie, our killer turns out to be, and this doesn't make any sense. I think it breaks the rules of this, of the slasher mechanic in this movie. So you do see the masked killer again, but you also see other people too. You see like a Jason Voorhees sort of character and some chick from the 60s or something. What are they doing? Why are they in this? Oh, That's the witch. But why are they going around? Well, why is the masked killer, instead of trying to kill people, why is he stalking people through windows and then going through their laundry? Going through their laundry. Instead of trying to kill our teenagers in this movie, you have the masked killer going through fucking laundry. Like I said, in the beginning of the movie, I was like, okay, this masked killer guy is not very competent, very sloppy. It took him this long to take down. And now he's doing laundry. Dude, at that point in the movie, which is pretty early on, I was like tapping. I was like, what is there to fear? I don't fear them. The characters in the movie don't really fear them. I don't know, man. It seems really stupid. It seems really fucking stupid. But the reason why the masked killer was going through the laundry was for blood. It was for the blood of... There's our main girl. Dana? What's her name? Dina? I'll say Dina. She has a girlfriend named Samantha. And there's one scene where she had a nosebleed and she got her own blood on her, and she's walking on the soil in the forest, and her bloody hand touched the witch's remains. Now this witch remains was I thought her bloody hand touched the soil where the witch was buried. It had sent flashbacks or whatever to her, and a clear sign that the witch is coming after her. No. You find out much later that really her bloody hands touched the bones, the remains of the witch that died 300 years ago. It wasn't even fucking buried. This movie is fucking sloppy as hell. Wasn't even buried? Are you kidding me? Are you telling me the remains of a fucking witch was left on top soil and no scavenger animals or whatever came around to pick apart the remains and take it away? What are you talking about? That makes no fucking sense. It should have been buried. If it was buried, then they would have to unbury it and all this stuff. I just, man, it seems so fucking sloppy. It doesn't make any sense. If you want to have a campy movie, but make it campy. This movie wasn't camp. And let me go back to the blatant fucking flaw in this movie. So in this movie, the bulk of the movie, the way the witch operates, the reason why we see all these psycho killers is because they're trying to hunt down Samantha because of her blood, going after her blood. And these things that go after her, they don't even try to attack the other teenagers. They just happen to be in the way or whatever. I say this. However, if you've seen the movie and you're following along, there's obviously exceptions to the rule, which are never explained and don't make any sense. Especially when you see how these teenagers really form this plot to blatant. They have to put on Samantha's blood on their body to get these mass killers to come after them. Otherwise, they just ignore them as if they don't exist. Yet, for some reason, somehow, the killer in the beginning of the movie killed his girlfriend, who didn't appear to have any blood on her. I don't know if she tampered with the witch's burial grounds or whatever. Also killed a bunch of other people in the mall. Did they tamper with the witch's burial ground too? I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense. I can't tell you this. In the movie, there's a hospital scene where the secretary's the receptionist is killed, the doctor's killed. They didn't have Samantha's blood on them. Be like, oh, well, they work in a hospital setting. They probably do. Have you been in a hospital? They washed their hands. They changed their scrubs. They didn't have her blood on them. Yeah, they were killed. So the movie picks and chooses when someone's gonna die like that. But keep in mind the logic of the movie, the way these things are supposed to operate, as if they were hunting down Samantha for her blood. And then the other teenagers, our main teenagers, I guess they had magical plot armor until they put on Samantha's blood, and then the entities would come after them. Unlike everybody else in the movie. Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Scream, it made sense. You had a mass murder. It could be anybody. Anybody could be wearing a mask. It could be anybody, anytime. It could be a copycat murder. Could be the one from the very beginning. Okay, whatever. This doesn't make any sense, and is using like supernatural like garbage to kind of get around plot hole. I guess not really getting around plot holes. You're just making massive plot holes while trying to make it make sense why your characters weren't being attacked when they should have been. Man, this is stupid. This movie's so fucking stupid. And it could have been better. Could have been better, a lot easier. If they didn't just make it where, like, they're going after Samantha's blood and made it to where the psycho killers were actually just still haunting the town and terrorizing the town, the murder capital of the world, that would make much more sense. That seemed like it was the premise of this movie. But for some reason, they went with the whole, it's chasing for Sam for her blood, anyone who has Samantha's blood. It's like halfway through the script, they wrote a different movie or wrote a different plot, and they went with that. Garbage. Absolute garbage. I do not like this movie. It is sloppy as a slasher. It is. I've seen way better. So much better. So much better. It is a sloppy mess. Yeah, if you like this nostalgia berry, sure. Yeah, you're gonna like this movie. But let's talk about that. Most of the songs are. This movie takes place in 1994. Most of the songs you hear would not even be out then. It's pandering 90s nostalgia. That's what it is. Stranger Thing, you didn't know exactly what year, right? I don't think it told you. With this, it gives you the exact date. You got the nerd kid listening to More Human Than Human, which did come out to a year later. In the nerd kid, man, I'll tell you, man, he was too much. I was a nerd in high school. You gotta pick your lane. Are you gonna be a nerd in video games? Nerd in D&D? A nerd in AOL D&D chat stuff? A nerd on serial killers? This guy had his hands in everything. He was a super guru nerd. And the reason why I say you kind of pick your lane is because to be a nerd in that stuff requires like you are obsessed with it. And if you're obsessed with it, are you really breaking away? I mean, also obsessed with video games and stuff like that. I didn't see that in my experience in the 90s growing up. You kind of picked your lane, you know? You're a video game kid, played a lot of video games, or you're one of the D&D guys. You probably read a lot of books too. Probably maybe played some video games, but you weren't as obsessed as other kids. Serial killer nerds. Wow. Okay. But this guy was obsessed. Even had even was charting the various murders like a sociopath. Oh my god. Their nerd character was too much. He really could have been two characters. They could have made him two separate characters. Because there's characters in the movie that just are not needed. They don't need to be there. Like, they have a character, her name is Kate. She's a cheerleader, but she's also a drug dealer. Okay? And there's a part in the movie where they try to get Sam to die and bring her back. So I instantly thought, because to get rid of the witch's curse. Spoiler alert. Okay. It's not good. You're not going to like this movie. I mean, so I figured, okay, they're going to have Samantha OD. They showed the drugs in the beginning of the movie. They're going to have her take all those drugs and OD and bring her back. No. Now they go to the supermarket and the other character, what's his name? What is his name? Escaping on his name. I think Simon? I think Simon's his name, not sure. He's Kate's partner. He's Kate's, not partner, but friend. But his whole role in the movie is to be a joker. Okay, a joker. But then he's the one who's like, comes with the idea, let's go to the pharmacy and take all these pills. They don't need to do that. They had all the drugs in the beginning of the movie. Kate's a drug dealer. Kate knows about drugs. They could have completely got rid of Simon. Did not even need to be there. Didn't need to be there. You already had the druggie. You already had her, and she would know how to use like, you know, we call that pin thing you jam in. She would know how to use that. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you go ahead and watch the movie, you'll find out why none of this I'm telling you freaking matters. And the movie's way too long. Way too long than what it needs to be. An hour and 47 minutes. This movie could have been an hour long. Just an hour long. In fact, there's a sequence at the school where you think it's going to end there. No, it doesn't. No, they go on for more. They go to the supermarket. And now, because our teenagers are now wearing Sam's blood, now the mass murderers go after them. Whereas before in the movie, and in the opening of the movie, the mass murderer was going after everybody. They didn't have blood. It was never implied that they were on the... It was never implied or suggested that they, tampered with the witch's bones. And then you had the people who were slaughtered at the hospital. They didn't have Samantha's blood on them. So, like I said, it was an absolute mess. But some people praise it. Some people like it. If you want a good slasher, watch Scream. Okay? Just watch Scream. If you want a good 90s slasher, just watch Scream. That's all you need to do. This is not Scream. It wants to be, but it shits all over itself by overcomplicating its stupid fucking plot. Now you can downvote if you don't like this. But if you still want to watch it, you stream it, and you let me know what you thought. Was I right? Y'all have a good one. Y'all take it easy.